to you from underneath a peach blossom. It's time for an episode of Be Awesome. Find positivity throughout your life and work, just like our mascot rooster, Steve the Jerk.
Hello, Be Awesome listeners. I am with some very special people and friends of mine. I've got Tilly here who wants to say hello to everybody.
Hi.
Hi. I've got Gus.
Oh, good.
That is a big hug. I like that. Hello. And we've got Greta.
Hi.
And these guys and their parents are going to do a really awesome podcast here with me over the next 30 minutes. And we've got the little pooch. What's the dog's name?
Lulu.
Lulu. And Lulu's looking at me like she's going to maybe eat my foot. So, well, thanks for stopping by, guys. We're going to start getting our podcast going here, all right?
Bud.
Okay, thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right.
Thanks, Bud.
We're getting ready for episode 22 here of the Be Awesome podcast. Really excited to be at my house, in my hometown, not at my house. I'm actually at these guys' house with their parents, Dennis and Michelle Teravanian. I think I said that right. Teravanian. Okay, that's good. I got it kind of right here. I'm really excited to be here tonight to talk about something really exciting that they're doing and share a little bit of their life. And it's for the upcoming Down Syndrome Day, right? World Down Syndrome Day, which is the 21st, which is this Thursday.
That's right.
And why don't you tell us first, what is Down syndrome?
So Down syndrome is a condition that someone is born with. It's not something that you can catch. And essentially there are 3 chromosomes where there should be 2 at the 21st chromosome. And as a result, there are certain features that are pretty consistent for folks with Down syndrome. It could be that they're noticeable eye shape. There could be low muscle tone.
The bridge of his nose.
And the other issues could be challenged speech, challenged coordination, with hand and muscle, fine motor skills. So different challenges. Not all people with Down syndrome have the exact same combination, but those are most frequently.
Okay. And Gus was born with Down syndrome,
Yes.
and he's 8, right?
Yes.
He's 8.
He's 8.
Yeah, and he's an awesome 8. He's staring at me. He's giving me smiles and looks here. So he's my supporter. He's also doing my sound checks here. So you guys live in Easton here, same town that I live in. I caught up with this whole movement that you guys have in the last week. Lines of separation, closeness. Your sister is married to a childhood friend, and really love what you guys have, started to, the movement you've started to do for this big day on the 21st, but you've made it like a month-long activity, right? You're not doing it little. But let's talk about that. So it's the Act of Kindness, right? It's the Act of Kindness card that you're passing out. How long have you been doing it for?
This is our 5th year. We started doing it. I was inspired. A childhood friend of mine had passed away in her family, and on her 1-year anniversary of celebrating her. We all did random acts of kindness, and in participating doing that, I was inspired. And so a couple months later, World Down Syndrome Day was coming up, and I thought, how fun to be able to use this as a platform to, raise awareness and acceptance.
And get people to be kinder.
Be nice.
Be nice, yeah. So the first year you do it, it's basically just you guys and a handful of others, and
That's right.
Yeah.
You get some
We posted
small
it.
things and put cards out, and now
my girlfriend just reminded me. I made brownies. I put it in baggies, and I walked around to strangers, and I handed them a brownie with a card that I made.
Yeah.
Off of my PowerPoint, and I printed them over at CVS, and they were a hot mess. But I posted them to Facebook, and so many people that were local said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to do it. Let me know next year." So I put it on Facebook just before the event, and a childhood friend of mine, Tracy Mazuka, I asked her, I said, "Listen, I don't know what I'm doing with design. Do you think you could do these cards for me?" And then sure enough, she came up with a amazing design, and she's been doing it ever since, each year.
Which is the card that they can get on your Facebook page that you can print out and you can do it yourself.
Yes.
I figured that out. I did that. I did it the other night. Printed them out, cut them. They look fantastic. So 5 years. I think you guys are probably going to have 5,000, 6,000. I mean, you got, how many cards did you have done?
So Staples donated 3,000, and then we ran out quickly. We ran out probably 3 weeks ago, and a friend of our family donated 3,000 more, and we only have maybe 100 cards left.
Wow.
So that's separate from whatever people are printing off of the Facebook page.
And in a lot of cases, someone's getting that card with a gift, and then they're reusing that card as well. So it's entirely possible. There's 10,000 acts of kindness with Gus's picture on it, flying around all over the place. What's the furthest away that you've seen someone show or share? Because I know they're putting it all over Facebook. I'm just getting caught up on this, and I'm trying to keep up with all of the different acts of kindness where they come from. I saw one in New York. I think I saw one in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Florida, Turks and Caicos is
Costa
here,
Rica.
Costa Rica.
Wow.
Boston.
So people are taking the cards on vacation.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah. A friend of ours took it on a work trip to India last year.
Wow.
And so we were, that was officially when we knew we were international.
Yes.
Yeah. Gonna need a passport for the cards pretty soon. I have to tell you, this Be Awesome started a lot because of not seeing positive out there, seeing a lot of negative. I spent a lot of time in airports, as I shared with you, and sometimes, I think a lot of times, people get caught up in themselves and life and overwhelming, and they need to wake up. And I think this is a phenomenal wake up. I'll share the flag story if that's okay, because that was just one of the most. I might need a Kleenex if I'm not careful. Chris has put that through me. This for those listening, this happened so quickly. My fiance Amy has been telling me that I need to get back with the podcasting. Because I've been quiet for a little bit. We just relaunched the first podcast yesterday, and she said there'd be this great movement happening right here in town. And because of your sister and knowing her, I reached out to her on, I think, Saturday, and I got a message yesterday to give you a call. And you and I spoke this morning, and we set this up for tonight, which is fantastic.
Make things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And my very talented friend with a huge heart, Chris Mills, who was on an early episode, who makes the American flags. I stopped by his house because he's making one for something else that I'm doing, and I started to tell him your story of what's somewhat new to me, and he just pointed downstairs to his basement, and he started just telling me this. It wasn't even coherent, because I think he was starting to get really emotional, and all I got out of it was that at 11 o'clock last night he started making this flag, and when I looked at the bottom corner it said Gus. And that's amazing. Like, just random, a literal random act. The first person I told, and he was up for a good part of the night putting this thing together. That's pretty awesome. Like, that has to make him feel good. That has to make you feel good. That has to make listening to others feel good. Did you guys think it was going to get like this big? Like, when you first started, were you guys just like, hey, let's just throw some kind bars and some gift cards up? Like, what were you like?
It just exploded. It was as organic and grassroots as you would think. We thought it's a fun thing for the neighborhood and our family. And then when other people started sharing the enthusiasm, it was like, oh wow, look at somebody in Taunton or Norton.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that! And then next thing you know, it's ballooned into however many thousands of cards are out and however many number of posts, and it's been just a wild ride. And not to mention just some of the publicity that's come with it. Last year, Channel 7 came to the house. This year, we had a couple great experiences, and there's been other notoriety.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I never in a million years would have thought it would be as big as it is.
But I feel like to that point, and I can't stress this enough, it is such a true reflection of our town and the people that live in the town, because it was the people who live in this town who embraced it and wanted to join in and made it what it is. It was a good idea, and a lot of good people saw a good idea, and they just took it to a level. I mean, this is just an idea, you know? It's all the people in our town that, of course, our family and friends. I mean, my sister and her kids, my niece and nephew, like, they have been such huge proponents to making this a big success.
Yes.
But in addition to that, I mean, it just...
Especially the educators and the schools where the kids go fully embraced it, ran with it, and that, I think, spread the word to the parents of the other kids, which in turn, then they pass it on to their friends or their relatives. So it's been, you know, a viral word of mouth and social media kind of explosion, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Well, I mean, it's got to be a full-time job just keeping up with, because I see that you comment on almost every single
I have
post.
to comment on I said that to my husband on day one. I want every single person, I get emotional saying it, but it's true. I want everyone to feel appreciated because you are spreading kindness, but you're also you're helping people become more educated and accepting, and that is the whole purpose behind it. So I thank everybody, because it's that important.
And so the thread I was reading, and if I got it wrong, I'm pretty sure I got this right, but one of the most powerful ones that I saw that I was reading on my way over here was a teacher that wrote a card to every student to tell them how important they were or how loved they are.
I can show you. She's amazing. She was Sophia, my niece's teacher.
Okay.
So Sophia brought it into her classroom. So she's embraced it every year since then. And she has 24 students, and she wrote them a personalized message to each student in the classroom about what makes them special. That is the biggest gift.
You know, I think it's the perfect example of how you do not have to do something elaborate. You do not have to do something that even costs money. If you do, then that's wonderful. Like, it's completely your prerogative. But it's the simplicity is just as valuable, and you know, it's something that you know is going to be a gift to whomever's the recipient that they're always going to appreciate.
This must have made you feel pretty good, huh? Can I read this? Is it okay to read this?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
I think so.
I won't say the teacher's name, and people will probably figure it out, but I think this is just really cool. I think this is pretty awesome. It's some kind words about you. I'll just read part of it. In honor of your sweet brother Gus and World Down Syndrome Awareness Day, I want you to know how very special you are to me. I feel so very grateful to have each and every one of you in our class this year. Greta, I know I'm your teacher, but you teach me so much every day just by being the selfless, that means the opposite of selfish girl you are. I'm glad she explained that, because I didn't know. It goes on. I'm not going to go too far. I think people can get the idea. This is a laminated letter that a teacher took the time to put together, each individually. This is what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
I mean, this has to be awesome. I mean, you're going to keep this forever, right? And when you're feeling kind of down and blue, you can always go back and see what your teacher wrote about you and remember what people think of you. You know, this is amazing, because, you know, the one thing that I talk about and that I'm an advocate and have become an advocate of, thanks to my friend Santa Claus. I'll tell you about that after the talk. But yeah, I can show you pictures of Santa Claus. When I went to the North Pole is, you know, there's 3 million kids that are homeless or in foster care. And that translates to about an 82% chance of every classroom having at least one child that's homeless or in foster care. That doesn't include abusive homes and all that other stuff. So there's a lot of kids in a really bad way that don't have a Kind Bar to find in a Target store. They don't have a coffee gift card. They don't necessarily have a teacher that provides, like, every kid. There's probably a kid in there that might not feel that good about themselves, and they're getting this letter. that's powerful. Like what you guys are doing, like I know you kind of get it, but this is like monumental in lives change. Like 6,000 cards. The average family size is 24,000 people are touched minimal just on the cards that you know about, on an idea to recognize a day for a great little dude named Gus. Huh, buddy? We doing good? Gus is holding strong down at the end of the table. He's giving me the stare down every once in a while. But so what's next? Do you guys think about what's next? Are you gonna keep this thing going? Are you gonna you're gonna up your card count? Are you guys gonna go to Mr. and Mrs. Staples and say, hey guys, cut some more trees?
It's so funny. Every year I'm like, we peaked. This,
Yeah.
Every year I say that. I'm like, I can't imagine it getting bigger. And this, truly, I asked Staples for 3,000 cards, and they were absolutely, never would I have thought that we would have distributed 3,000 cards before March 1st.
Yeah.
Before the start of the month.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So you start this March 1st?
No,
or
I
you
start at mid-February. I start distribution.
Okay. And when do the acts of kindness actually? Do you guys have an official start date?
I think right around March is when you start to see the posts.
Yeah.
Some people are so excited and so enthusiastic. They want to get going and started, and it helps just get the momentum built up. So
Yeah.
It'll be probably it'll probably triple in the next couple of days, however many we've seen on the Facebook page. But there's also so many that don't get photographed, and it's the comfort level of the people who are doing the gift and those receiving. Not all of them have to be photographed and posted. It's just the actual gesture that counts.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you're not capturing every gesture and every exchange, and everybody. I saw a couple that said no picture, but this is what happened. I love the. I must have just missed the one at Pops with the bottle of wine on Friday. That was a good one. But you're right. It's the act, and sometimes it's just people. I mean, there's probably still a lot of people that don't know what this is. So if they see a card given to them at the drive-through from the person in front of them or something like that. I mean, I heard a story about the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through. Can you tell me if I'm right or wrong on this? But there was like a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through that literally someone paid for the person, and the card passed through like 10 or 12 cars.
Yep.
Before someone said that order behind me is way too big, I can't cover that, and it had to stop there, or they like the card.
There's been some really amazing stories. Ultimate Pizza in town.
Yep. The big sheet pizzas.
They are amazing, and they feed the teachers as their random act of kindness at Gus's school.
So they bring pizza in for all the teachers.
They donate a humongous pizza.
Jill just updated the list of all the businesses, and there's so many.
Oh, there's so many
businesses, and not even just local, far away as well.
Right, but this particular story, I went in to pick up their pizza last year, and they said that they saw the card, and somebody put $10 down, and they said, put that towards the next meal. Every single person, and she said it was 30 to 40 people.
Wow.
Did the same thing. The guy that ended the night had a $2 bill, and he said that he started his day and he gave Duncan $100 and said, pay for $100 worth of coffee. He started his day at a Dunk's, and at the end of his day, he's getting a $2 meal.
Wow.
Like it just literally came full circle. And those stories happen so much during this time. It's really amazing.
Wow. Now, do you ever think about like the other 300 and some odd days, how hard it is? Like how does it it's like gotta be like Christmas for you guys, right? You gotta be like it ends, and then a lot of times people just go back to being busy, right? Yeah. And then does this like a countdown for you? Like the 21st hits, you wake up on the 22nd, you're like, man, I can't wait till February till I get my cards again. Like, does it end does it pretty much end on the 21st, or do people go through the month?
People will go through the month.
Yeah.
Like the first week of April, you'll still see posts, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's this absolutely wonderful experiment that she started, but at the same time, it's nice because I get her back, because Michelle you know, I know when she's looking at the Facebook page because I'll see her sitting on the couch crying, and then you know, like say, I can't,
Yeah.
and I know, okay, it's I let her enjoy it, soak up the moment. But you know, we both have our day jobs, and so I think when the afterglow kind of subsides, it's not forgotten, but you know, back.
You need a break and get back to
usual.
Yeah. Let me shift gears a little bit, because one of the things that really kind of engaged me in interest was your blog.
Oh, thank you.
And you know, was, as I shared with you before, you know, being geriatric, according to doctors, and having our child Chance, you know, they wanted to go through all the gambit of tests to determine, you know, risk factors, realities, and all of that. And you know, we never, it didn't matter, like none of it. And I mean, Gus was just he comes right over to me and he's like giving me a hug basically, and like he's my buddy, like we're friends now, I think, right, Gus? We friends? Good. But I mean, you guys had this happen reactionary, right? You had Gus, you didn't know, and what was amazing, and I say amazing because I can't put myself in your shoes. I can't. I would lie if I said I could. I'd lie if I said this is what I would. I would do the exact same writing because I already told you guys I'm a terrible writer. But you literally wrote day one, don't feel sorry for us. Don't do anything other than, in your words, give me a bro hug, give me a handshake. Be happy. My parents have their first grandson. It was your grandfather, I think, has his great grandson. You know, we're excited. We've got our first son in the family. What is that? I mean, it doesn't take a special someone. It just takes someone to say we accept what we have and we're going to work with it. How did you do that? Like, will you take yourself back to that day writing the blog, and do you say, man, was I really like that right out of the, because you just reading it, I was just sitting there envisioning you just this strong, like you almost lost them at one point.
Yeah.
And you told them to go because you didn't know, you know, what to do. I think that was the only sense that I kind of got from you, that there was a question or an uncertainty of, you know, what do I do? But it seemed like you had like everything set up, like all the way down to the bro hug. So, you know, what was that like? What was it like to first write that and to feel that and to think that, and how you went through all of that, and then come out just
as we did? Well, so we had been I'd been writing a blog since before when Greta was born, and I thought when she was pregnant with Gus, this would be a good opportunity to kind of just do blog chronicles. So in the blogs leading up to it, you can see how sarcastic and you know, very not serious at all. You know, I'm always trying to find an excuse to crack a joke, and then, you know, obviously you have a moment like this and it's life changing. And I think in that, you know, first couple of days, we could feel all of our loved ones kind of looking to us for the cue, for direction. You know, and they weren't sure that they were here for us, and they wanted to do whatever they possibly could, but they didn't know what they wanted from us. And I think that I wanted to just make sure that we expressed that this is a celebration, and we wanted people to join in just as if it was any other typical birth. And, you know, it was just recognizing that, you know, when you're having a child, you have no idea what they may have physically or intellectually, or whatever issue, whatever level of health that they may have. And you just know that you're going to do whatever you absolutely can as a parent to just do what you set out for in the first place, which is just trying to raise them right and making sure they feel loved and part of the family and part of the community.
Yeah. And have you had families that have reached out to you in like a similar scenario that maybe didn't have? It sounds like you guys. I mean, you guys got it together, right? We'll step back. People, past generations, like you say, they queued up. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to talk to you. They don't know if they should say, sorry instead of congratulations.
Right.
They're uncomfortable. There's all these different feelings that you're now responsible to be like, hey, let's smile and have a great time, because Gus is always smiling, right? But you probably, and I know some of your family, and I can see where they would smile and be congratulations and supportive. Have other people come to you with similar situations and said, well, how do you do it? Or, what was it like? Or did I do this wrong or right? Or should I disown half my family because they're just the most uncomfortable and awkward people to be around? Like,
well, first can I say, we are definitely a hot mess. We don't have it as together as you
We do
portrayed.
not have it together.
your parents. First of all, I get it. I get it.
We're winging
Yeah.
it, But well, first of all, we received a lot of support right at the outset from the hospital. Mm-hmm. They got us in touch with people who were in the Down syndrome community
Mm-hmm.
that could help explain to us all of the various resources that were available, and such as talking about whether this was a situation for celebration, but also it's okay to go through whatever quote unquote mourning period that you're going through at the time. So we understand everybody has different levels of how to process that. But in terms of other families, I mean, we had families in the Down syndrome community who reached out to us and offering their support and guidance. And so now we've had the opportunity to do the same thing for other families that have had a baby either unexpectedly or if they did know. And so that was a kind of a word of mouth education, I guess, in terms of the expectations of how to approach the birth of a child with Downs. Mm-hmm. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, you're nailing it.
Great representation.
I have nothing to say.
I echo what he said. Yeah. No, but that's I was driving over here and I just kind of was curious to think about, and reading and catching up in a small amount of time as much as I could, and to understand just your mindsets of where they were, but also understanding society as a whole. A lot of people can look at things differently. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. And you can. People should appreciate what they have, right?
Absolutely.
And too many focus on the things they don't have, the differences that they have from others, the whatever that is setting them back or holding them back, or whatever it is that bothers them. And instead of just saying, wow, you know what, I got a pretty good situation. I got a pretty good gig. I've got great people. I get people that love me. None of them are perfect. I know I'm far from perfect. But we work with it. And, I just was coming over here and I was just thinking about, kind of what you said, and then acceptance and understanding that this is this, and kind of what we went, listening to the doctors before it and going, I can't believe that there's anybody that would think any differently than this, but obviously that there are. Sure. And so I'm glad that they have support, for people that are gone through it, going through it, can show, the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, with how do you say something to, crazy Uncle Eddie. Everybody's got crazy Uncle Eddie. Might not be the uncle, but it's, Griswold's.
I think that's part of the motivation of why Michelle started this.
That's exactly it.
We want people to feel comfortable to ask us any questions, or ask Gus or his sisters about what life is like. I mean, on one hand, I am just absolutely so proud that my son, his picture is on the kindness card itself, but we're also sheepish too, because there are so many families with kids with Down syndrome. We don't want to monopolize this in a way that's hogging any attention. It's just more so, if anything, it's for those families. We want this message of inclusion and acceptance to be spread, and we're happy that we have Gus in our family, and he's willing to pose for the pictures.
Well, I mean,
to do this.
he's got an infectious smile. I mean, he's always smiling. I've watched the videos of the Revolution, and he's high-fiving.
He's not
just
always smiling.
well, no,
You can
none
talk
of
to
us.
his
Yeah,
teachers.
none of us. Yeah.
That's his teachers and his parents and his therapists.
But
and-
I do think a huge motivation for me, to his point, I never met a person with Down syndrome before having Gus.
Really?
I never met anybody with Down syndrome, and so for me, I had one of those. How did I used to act? How was I? And I think a lot of people operate out of fear, and I want to create an environment for Gus and everyone that's touched by this message where it's comfortable to talk about. You don't have to be shy
Right.
or nervous around somebody who acts a little differently, maybe looks a little differently. So we're creating an environment where his peers and, all the peers of our kids, they know that they can ask questions and, feel comfortable. It's not, we're an open book here.
Yeah. Well, and it also encourages people to be themselves, no matter who, what, or, just being open. And that's something a lot of kids are challenged with,
Sure.
And I think that's fantastic. I think that what you guys are doing is just nothing short of phenomenal. I mean, right down the street from my house, as I said, I travel around the country and I see all these things happening, and all of a sudden I get the good fortune to see something that happens, right here in my backyard, and it's spreading like, wildfire. I hope this grows. I hope you don't ever consider not doing it. I hope that it expands. I hope you put Staples in a position where they have to become a nonprofit organization because they make no money with your tickets. You just want to hang out with me. This
Lulu loves Josh.
Lulu is if I didn't have a goat named Lulu, I would bring her home and if the animals love me, they gravitate to me. It's like I got an ark at my house or something. But no, I hope this thing grows. I hope that it's something that continues to blossom, and that it brings joy to you guys. If you're sitting on the couch and crying and reading those, I cry when I read some of these posts. Like the teacher one. Just before I came over here, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right? I mean, there's some people have some pretty big gifts, like they're doing big gift cards and baskets and all sorts of stuff. And then I saw this teacher putting that what she did, and I was just amazed at just for you to take the time to sit down to put this together and let fourth graders to let them know that's a tough time for kids. Like, it's all a tough time. Like the whole growing up experience is completely different. So when I saw this, I was just in awe, because this is teaching them that it's not a material.
Yep.
It's an action.
Yep.
It's a showing that you care. It's something small. And I think that's something important for the listeners. I think that everybody listening to this, I know I have listeners all over the country. I just saw that I had some listeners last night from Spain. I had some in the Caribbean. Some friends that were down in Barbados a couple weeks ago, and apparently they must have spread the good word of Be Awesome. We've got a lot of T-shirts flying around. So if you're going to take part of this, first of all, how do they get a card? It's kind of where do they go, and how can they print one out themselves, and what to do?
So we have a Facebook page. It's called Random Acts of Kindness for Gus and World Down Syndrome Day. And there's, is it an attachment?
There's a
Like
a folder on the
files?
side that says files.
Okay.
And so there's one link that I believe prints 3 at a time, and another link that prints 1.
And you can just print them off.
Print them out, cut them out, and
Cut them out.
okay. I'll put the links on all my social media, but if you want to print one out, and hey, heck, look, if you don't want to print one out, or you don't know how to print one out, I can't show you the link. Lulu is excited. She wants to come and hang out with me. And they're doing everything they can. Now, if you could see this dog, it looks like a miniature Ewok from Star Wars. It's got a fancy little bandana or something, or a collar on, a polka dotted collar, and she's like 5 pounds of absolute terror. It's fantastic.
She's trying to.
So look at that. Literally, I mean, I'm gonna have to get a picture. I put it side by side with an Ewok. This thing is sold. But no, I'll put the link out. But you know something, for those of you that are listening, if you don't print the tag out and you listen to this podcast and it brings you some joy in the day and you say, wow, that's really cool. Or you know what, maybe nobody's done anything really nice for you in a while. Do something nice. Just go out of your way. Pay it forward. Pay for the person behind you at the drive-through. But buy a gift card and randomly give it to somebody. Write a thank you card. Just write a card to somebody that you think deserves a thank you or an appreciation, or tell them they're loved. Give somebody a hug. I mean, this stuff doesn't cost any money. Do it for Gus. I think that this is just such a phenomenal movement with great people behind it. I really appreciate you guys, giving me your time here and doing this podcast. I think this is just so phenomenal. I'm going to try to give the governor a Gus card and a package. I got to figure out what to get, but I'm hopefully going to be in a situation where I'll be close to him by Wednesday. Hopefully nobody tackles me as I'm running with a Gus card and saying, "Mr. Governor, I've got something for you." Just a heads up, if you're listening, Governor, I'm coming for you with a card. There's nothing else. Maybe a kind bar, maybe a thank you letter. Maybe you can put that on your website and your social media for Thursday. But you guys are doing something really wonderful, and you're making a difference. And I know it takes a lot of time. I know that it's probably a little bit of a labor of love. Obviously, it's not for any other reason other than trying to make people do something kind in a period of time. And hopefully people carry that to April, May, June, July, August, September, and we don't get to a point where we have to look forward to it, which is, I watch too much Ellen. I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know what would make this world a better place? Watch more Ellen. Just watch Ellen. Honestly, it's like, it's crazy because I just started watching Ellen a couple years ago, and it's like life changer, right? Be good to.
Tilly's favorite show.
Oh, is it really?
She loves Ellen.
Well, we might have to get a hold of Ellen. We might actually have to get a hold of Ellen for this. Anybody that's listening to this podcast that's got to tie in with Ellen, I think Gus and family needs to come out there for next year for a show. What do you think, Gus? You want to go to California? Yeah. I think Gus wants to go to California. Tilly wants to go to California. Greta's indifferent. It's nice.
California? All right, let's go.
Yeah, California's a pretty cool place. I was just out there not too long ago. So, listen, guys, I appreciate your time. Do you guys want to say goodbye?
Come over.
That's right. Oh, okay, come on over here. Tilly, Greta, and Gus are going to say goodbye. I'm going to close out here.
I think Lulu's getting ready too.
Lulu's going to say goodbye, maybe bark and try to bite me. So you guys want to say thank you for listening?
Thank you for listening.
Very good. You got anything you want to say? Oh, Lulu's kissing. Gus, you want to say?
Happy World Down Syndrome Day.
Happy Syndrome Day.
Oh, wonderful job. Thanks, buddy. You got anything? Nothing?
Good night.
Greta's out. And on that, Be Awesome listeners, I thank you for another wonderful episode that you've listened to, episode 22. As always, ratings and reviews on iTunes is greatly appreciated. Put one on, send me an email, josh@beawesome.com, and I will send you something. As a matter of fact, you know what? You buy a shirt between now and the 21st, I'll send you a shirt to give to somebody else. So we'll do that. If you want to buy a shirt, www.beawesome.com. And not only that, I'll give $6 for homeless charity that we're going to do Mass School on Wheels for the first part of this year until we get our next program down. So buy a shirt between now and the 22nd. Tell me what size in the notes for the second shirt so you can pay it forward and give to somebody. Really look forward to our next podcast. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You on Instagram? No?
Oh,
Gus is all good. He's not on Instagram. Until then, I'm signing off, everybody. Be awesome.